Welcome back to Etheria Restart. Today I want to talk to you about all of the new changes that just dropped inside of the game because yes, we got a huge update inside of Etheria Restart. Now I need to thank Etheria Restart for sponsoring today's video, and I need to welcome Hermes back to the channel to take us through 5 massive changes that are inside of the game, and no, that does not count the amazing holiday decor here in the apartment. And by the way, guys, if at any point in time you want to download the game and play alongside of myself and alongside of Hermes, use this QR code or my link in the description and it gets you 10 free summons. So along with the 5 topics of change in Etheria Restart that we're talking about today, we're also going to be doing some polls at the end of the video, so make sure you stick around. Hermes, my man, it's nice to have you back in the channel, bro. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Obviously me and Etheria are both getting into the Christmas spirit, so that's always good. I always love when games like this will do like the Christmas decor and kind of get into the spirit in the game. So I'm really hopeful, looking forward in this season. It seems like Etheria has really turned a new leaf in this game and has really done so many great things for its player base. I'm just so excited to see where they take the game from here.
Yeah, I completely agree. I love a lot of the changes that we're about to discuss. And on top of that, it sounds like something small, but I really do enjoy when there's holiday themes that are thrown into the games. I think it is a nice touch that really a lot of players enjoy. So outside of the decor, let's start off of the 5 or 6 or 7 things. Let's talk about the new event that's dropping inside of the game. Actually, as of this morning, what is this new event and why do you love it?
Yeah, so this is another one of those beginning of the season events that they did. They did this one, I think it was a couple months ago, whenever they launched the season, their previous season of the live arena stuff. And so now they've done the same thing again. You get some special offers. You'll see you have this 7-day login program.
Mhm.
You have a free new outfit. And then a big thing is, again, they've reset the first crystal bonus is at 100%. So you get another reset of that, as well as this cool new Winter Bloom code. So that'll be awesome for players to use, get a little bit more free stuff in the game. I am personally really excited about the 7-day login because what you do on day 7 is you basically just get to pick an RGB SSR and you just get to choose it and go, oh yeah, I want them on my account,
Wow.
and you just get one. So if you didn't do a banner or you're still trying to finish out your collection, they're basically just saying, here, come take another free SSR, right? Just right here, just take one and put it on the account. What I think is going to be really big for a lot of players.
Now, that's something we've spoken of in previous videos, actually on the Etheria channel. If you guys haven't checked it out, I'll be linking that down below. We talked about how they needed bigger rewards for that 7-day login, and it seems like they've listened because a free SSR is actually pretty darn sweet to get at the end
Yeah.
of a 7-day login, and it's going to bring a lot of returning players back to the game. So 7-day login rewards are actually on fire. That's awesome, but there's a lot more besides that login reward. The next one that I want to talk to you everyone about and share with them are the new animus that are dropping inside of the game, which we will be pulling for some of these later on inside of the video. Talk to me about the new animus. First of all, they look incredible, especially
Oh
that
yeah, these are
that
awesome.
guitar player. My God, Santic looks sweet. I love that tongue coming out of the guitar. Talk to me about the animus, which ones you like, what the plan is, and what you're going to recommend I do for my account as well.
Yeah, so obviously, again, as per the usual, you always expect it. Etheria has knocked the graphics out of the park, right?
Yeah.
These are awesome looking animus, and it's always so cool to see that. Something that's really interesting to note, obviously, and players need to make sure they know, is that Santic is a RGB, so he is a reason type animus, so he'll only need the anima prototypes, whereas Luan is going to need your apex prototypes because she's a LD unit. Oh my goodness. So
Right.
both of them have really good kits, in my opinion. I think it's very interesting to see a new LD unit because you expect them to be very top of the line, and I think that they have done a great job of that because I really like the fact that she puts out this taunt on her A3. And I think that is really powerful, especially when you get into arena battles, which I know that you love,
Hmm.
because it is very important to be able to control your opponents. And additionally, she also reduces the crit rate. The healing and shield effects are reduced by 60%, and the crit rate against Lawan is reduced by 60% as well. And so basically, this additional buff that she or debuff that she puts out on her opponents also basically doesn't take them fully out of the battle, but it makes them be a lot weaker in the battle. And it's really great to see when you have a lot of those bruiser type champions that require a lot of healing and kind of support to get through the battle, and you've got a champion or an animus like this that really is coming in and is really not nerfing, but it's taking a lot of that ability away. So it's really
Yeah.
cool to see an animus like this.
Yeah, it's a control-based animus, which, like you mentioned, is really great for the arena. All right, so Lawan looks awesome. She has a lot of control in her kit as well. Talk to me about Santic as well. Like, how does he fit into people's roster?
So he is actually a really cool one as well. He's a buffer and a debuffer. So he is one
Mm.
that you're probably going to want to have go pretty fast. Make sure that you're keeping him quick at the start of the battle. And I will say again, the skin is just awesome. I mean, like all the different parts are really cool. But on the kit itself, his A3 or his ability is really, really interesting because he increases the crit rate and crit damage on all allies, as well as purifying 3 debuffs from them. So, if you get him to go, let's say that you don't end up going first in a battle and you've got some debuffs on some of your other animus, if he goes, he'll purify 3 of those, as well as putting an increased crit rate and crit damage on your allies, making them do more damage. Plus, on top of all of that, he then also gets an extra turn
Mm.
and then gets to go and he does some damage to all units, and he has a chance to increase their skill cooldowns and their shell cooldowns by a turn, which basically is a 1 turn lockout, as well as putting decreased crit rate and decreased effect accuracy on those enemies as well. And that's really big because again, you're looking at your debuffers, they're not able to do as much because they have less effect accuracy, and your damage dealers aren't able to do as much damage because they have reduced crit rate. So really, honestly, he's a very stellar kid. And then, obviously he also has this A1 that also is able to purify some debuffs and is also able to do some crits as well. So this is a really powerful kit for an RGB unit. And I think he is definitely one, and you have the summons for it. So I
Hmm.
think he is definitely one that you're going to want to go for.
All right, so let's actually do that at the end of this video. We'll be pulling for him, which I think will be a lot of fun, but that's how we'll finish out the video. So those are the 2 new animus, which both look very exciting. And as you mentioned, Etheria Restart always knocking it out of the park with the graphics. It's an amazing looking game, and the animus follow suit. Now, we were talking a little bit earlier about the shop and some new items that have come to the shop, and this is also so exciting because a lot of these types of games, turn-based strategy games, players don't always struggle with the animus or the champions they get, but with the gear that they're trying to get on those champions to make them strong. And the new shop items right here seem to have solved a little bit of that here in Etheria Restart. So talk to me about what excites you so much in this shop.
So I think this is a great thing for them to do. So obviously they've tried in the past, to give you a couple different ways to get some new modules that let you craft modules and do a bunch of different stuff to try to get those substats you're really looking for and everything else like that. But what makes this special is that just by playing their RTA, you are actually able to come in and purchase different pieces of gear, and the substats.
Mm.
What's really good about this is that it seems like, at least from my opinion, that these substats have been chosen, not necessarily like chosen on we've selected these perfect stats every single time, but they have a lot of the stats that you're really looking for to have on your pieces of gear, and they have them put together. I mean, you think about this, a bloodbath mask with effect accuracy, crit rate, crit damage, and speed, that is a crazy good piece.
Yeah.
Or this Swift Rush core, HP bonus main stat with speed, defense bonus, effect accuracy, and effect resistance. This is, again, basically a perfect piece of gear that you would love to be able to farm on your account. And then all you really need to do from that point is roll it up.
Yeah.
And
No,
it
that
is really big that you roll it up because you want to make sure that that gets done. But you've got to make sure that you're then rolling up the substats, which is another aspect of this game that they've really pulled in.
Now, well, basically what they're doing here is they're removing the RNG from basically trying to gamble out there and try and get the right piece and just run runs over and over again to get that gear. And they give you some guarantee. Like if you get the items needed to do these purchases, you can get that perfect elite piece of gear that you've been waiting for one of your animus. So adding things like this to the shop are actually really valuable when you're just trying to put together that perfect animus build. So I actually love this as well. Which one do you recommend that we purchase for the account?
Honestly, I think it is going to be this Swift Rush core. I think as you play the game some more, things like this Bloodbath piece and this Bloodbath piece will both be really good ones to get.
Mhm.
But I think that this Swift Rush piece right here is really good to get. So I think this is one you should get right now.
All right, cool. Let's get that thing right now. And there we go, obtained. And we recommend that you do the same. It's a great piece. Stoked to have it here on my account. All right, so we got the new events, new animus, the shop. Is there anything more here in the shop that you want to go over, or should we move on to the new module rerolls?
I think the shop is pretty much good. I think we should
Cool.
really move on to the modules from here and just get some of that new piece. Maybe we'll even try out rolling that new piece because it could go very well on an animus for you, like your Lily, that
Mm-hmm.
is struggling a little bit to get all those perfect sub rolls. So you'll see this one right here actually is this almost the same exact sub stats. The difference is it is only a two. It only has two of the Swift Rush module types
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to the three that the new piece has. So I think that'll be one to be really interesting to roll up. And then we can also maybe test out some of the other things that you were able to do with the new modules with this new update that's come into the game.
All right, well, let's take a second and try and roll that one up. All right, I see right there it has the 2 feet versus the 3 feet right there on Swift Rush. So are we gonna upgrade this new one that we just put together or picked up, I
Yeah, we're
should say?
actually and what's nice is also making sure you can get it all up to max. Because honestly, this is the kind of piece that you take up to max because of all the things that it has, and we just hope we get lucky on those speed rolls.
Let's see what we
So let's
get.
see. Oh, spread out everywhere. Of course, why would you get lucky on your brand new piece of gear? You
Ah,
got to split the rolls all over the place.
well, here's the thing. Like, you do still have to get lucky with that rolling up, even though you have that great
Yep.
base piece. So right here, which one do you like better?
So I would still say that that the one you currently have on the lead is probably best for her simply because you only got one roll into speed.
Mm-hmm.
But it is cool to be able to come in here now. There's a couple different ways that you can now update or upgrade these pieces of gears based on what you're able to obtain from events in the game,
Mm-hmm.
shops, and everything else like that. And that's the first thing that I see is really big is that you're able to just completely re-roll a piece of gear. So, for example, like this one right here, you're able to take some of these blue, I call them the blue cores, but these prism dice, and you're able to just completely rework a piece of gear. This is not the piece of gear that you'd want to rework completely, but let's say you didn't like the subsets it had, but it had pretty decent rolls. You'd be able to just completely alter this, give it random attributes, and completely reset this piece of gear. And that is really big. Again, if you have bad substat rolls, but you have a great overall piece of gear with a great main stat, and you just need to do that. The other thing they've brought in is this resonance tuning, which again takes another dice, which is something that you get throughout the game, and I think is even on the 7-day login. And what it does is it will reset the values of these stats. So what it
Mm-hmm.
does is you'll keep the same number of rolls, but let's say that you low rolled into like your speed stat, right? You could get up to 7 or 8 speed from just that single one roll you got in there, and you want to add that extra little bit of speed. You could go in and tune this and try to upgrade that speed a little bit higher, make that piece a little bit faster, and really give you that edge when it comes to arena.
All right, so I really like this tuning. I mean, again, something we've seen in other turn-based strategy games to really get that optimal, perfect build. And now we have these new types of dice that are inside here that can help us do that. So I think that's a great touch, especially when you're trying to get your strongest of animus, just get that extra little bit that they're looking for.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so cool. New module rerolls is a sweet new feature. We were talking about shells as well, and how even the shells got a little bit of an update and a nice cosmetic one as well.
Oh yeah. I will say this cosmetic update that they've added in, I love it. I mean, just look at how sick. Just White Fang, which is you one that you get pretty early on in the game, so
Mhm.
you're used to seeing White Fang all the time, and then you see this glowing with the white and the gold accents, and again, it just looks so awesome. What makes it even better is you're able to go in and you've got to go get those Phantom Echo items, and you'll be able to go from there.
Oh, that's really awesome, man. I like it a lot. Now, in addition to the awesome cosmetics, we have less of a farming grind to do to get the actual guys that I mean, They made it so much easier for us to actually get the shells that we need. Talk to me about why, Hermes.
This is one of, if not the greatest updates that they have made to the game. And I want to make sure that that is not just like left understated.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the biggest problems in this game is these farming matrices for your shells. Because if you don't have the right the shell matrices, you're basically, the shell is useless to you. So what they've done is they've come in and they've given you the opportunity to respec a certain matrice. So, for example, this Swift Rush one, again, this is on Lily, so we're not switching it from the way it is. But
Mm-hmm.
let's say that I wanted to put her into Fury and Momentum with Swift Raid. I could select Fury, and because I have this Octonode, which you can purchase from doing RTA battles, which is again a really big thing. Once you get one of these octanodes and you can select the matrice and you'll respec to that matrice automatically. That is such a big improvement because a lot of times you will have two or even just one substat that you really need, but for whatever reason you can't get it on your shell. And so by with this update, you being able to do that has really brought value to the game for basically everybody, because now instead of you having to sit there and farm thousands and thousands and thousands of energy or stamina just to be able to get a single shell, now you can farm maybe 1,000 energy, get the shell you're looking for with close enough matrices, and then re-roll the one that you really need to be re-rolled.
It's like huge quality of life additions that have been dropped into the game with this update. And that is massive, because rather than farming all day long, it's going to just cut that down big time for you. Anything else shell related before? That was 5 of the topics I wanted to talk about, but we actually have an additional 6th one as well. Anything more on shells before I go on to the Awaken ordeal?
The other big one, and this one I think is gonna be again another big thing with shells, is instead of you having to re-roll all the different time, do all these reconfigurations with by using a bunch of your currency and your reconfig chips, you're now able to come in and get these crates that give you the opportunity to get the substat that you want. So I think the biggest one that's going to be for a lot of players is the Shadow Dash one that will be able to then increase your speed automatically, and it just equips a passive module, and then you use it just like it is. And I think that's going to be so big for players because now you get the opportunity to not only get the sub attributes that you really want, the passives you want on your shells, but then also get them at the highest mythical level, which is really important in this game, especially as you get into RTA and you're really trying to progress through that. So that is another huge update to shells.
So basically, shells got a massive buff inside of the game, and our quality of life
Massive
improved.
buff.
All right, man. This is, I mean, honestly, it's sounding awesome. I want to talk a little bit about the Awaken ordeal as well that we discussed before, and then I want to get into a few polls. I know this is a little bit of a longer video, but there's so much stuff that we have to talk about here. So talk to me about the Awaken ordeal.
So that's actually something that I am really excited about because what it's doing is you're able to come in now with, and the first round, and again, it seems like what they've said is they're going to do a lot of more of these, but the first round of them at least is for Turn Dot, RC77, and Sanya. And what this does is you get to come in and you're able to use these tokens in addition to your stamina, and you're able to farm this is this awakening material. And what this does is that once you have fully maxed out all of the SR's skills, so you got her S1, S2, and S3 all max level, which takes 12 of your lattice. Once you do that, you then can get additional upgrades to those abilities. And so right now, Sanya, RC77, and Turn Dot you're all able to get all 3 of those, some additional upgrades to their abilities. And that's going to be really big for all over the game for these 3 animus. I think really brings them, I think all 3 of them were all pretty good in the game already, but gives them an extra level of power and still are only SR animus, which is really huge.
Yeah, so it's essentially leveling above max level of leveling. So, and it's a great feature they can add for any animus that maybe need a little bit of a tune or a buff, or that they feel need a little bit of a tune or a buff, which is going to be sweet. So right now we have those 3, and we could probably anticipate that that will be for more animus in the future, I would assume.
Yep, I would say the same thing, and I expect at least for right now, it probably just to be the SRs. but maybe even in the future, as this game grows, it might even be some SSRs. So, and that's how they would kind of buff them instead of just changing their kits.
Hmm.
Oh, you still have to go and you still have to grind up the materials so that it still keeps, the player base engaged, doing a new fun challenge, which I think is great. Always getting new content, new fun challenges is always something exciting to bring to the game, and I'm always excited about.
I completely agree. Something else I'm excited about right now is doing those polls. You ready to jump into those?
Oh yeah, this is going to be exciting. And I'm really interested to see how you do because I feel like you've gone to pity on a lot of these. So I don't know. Let's see. Oh, how many do you have? Oh, yep, 80
80.
summons is when you're guaranteed.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see what kind of luck you can get.
The last polls that I did, the final animus I got was the SSR. So we have 80 more to go. You ready to dive in? Let's do it.
Yeah, let's get it. Let's get it. All right. Just get a first 10. Welcome to the new season, right? Oh,
That would be nice, man.
never.
I mean, I'd be
Oh,
all
it would
about
be
that.
so nice. But of course,
No.
they couldn't do us like that. They've gotta lead us on a little bit, right?
Yeah, let's skip through and let's get through these ones, man. I want to make sure that we get some good. I'm getting the feeling that we're gonna get more than just the one. I mean, we got our guarantee,
Yeah,
right?
me too. I hope we get a couple copies, be able to use them for a couple different things.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, all right, so we're 20 in, so it's not looking great, but again, there's still a lot of pulls left, but at least there is the pity system in place, right? And that's what I've always loved about this game is that there is the pity system, so you'll know, ooh, this is a new SR for you.
Nice.
Trying to collect all of them that you can.
There we
Get
go.
that brand new, ooh, 4 SRs. That's a pretty big one.
That was a decent poll, even though we didn't get the SSR we were looking for. Still a
I know,
nice
right?
poll.
Gotta get the SSR. My gosh.
You know it's going to
This
80,
is
man.
Oh yeah, I mean, of course, with your luck combined with my luck, like the two of us together is never a good sign.
No, it's okay though, man. I still got to have you on. You're the expert at the game, so
Oh, of course,
you're
of
a
course.
must-have.
Oh man, yeah, man. So we're already almost at soft pity. I think
Yeah, we are.
we are at. I think we're already at soft
That
pity.
was 60
We'll
polls.
see.
This is
Yep.
70.
Oh my gosh. Wow. So we're
It's all
getting it
good.
on this one then, right?
It's got to be. I
Yeah.
mean, let's predict it. Yeah. Oh my God,
Ah,
our
there's the
prediction is
gold.
crazy. Here we go. New SSR on the account. Rocking the guitar with the tongue.
Ooh.
Let's
There you
go.
go.
Let's go, man. I mean,
And look,
this
I mean, he's always looking so cool.
this is a pretty stacked account, right? Like we've got so much unlocked on this account, so it's not it's very common for us to only be able to get what we're going for that pity. So that's a nice
And it
solid
wasn't
pull
the
right there.
very last one again.
We're going to pity every single time.
Every single time. I'm glad that they give so many summons out basically just for free and that the pity is 100%. Because imagine if it was 50-50. If you kept going to pity on a 50-50 system,
Yeah.
that would not be good.
It would be rough. It would be rough. But overall, man, I am stoked about this update. There's so many great changes that they've brought to the game. Any last things that you want to say before we close out?
Honestly, no, I'm so excited to keep continuing to get into this game and see all the new stuff that they've really got for all the players, as we get into this new season and this really valuable update. All the shell upgrades I think are the biggest thing of this whole thing is all the buffs and the bonuses they've given to shells. It's gonna be really huge to see in the future.
Yeah, I think they did a great job. They're listening to what the community wants to see, and that's a great sign for any game. Etheria Restart is doing the right thing and brought us a banger update. I want to again thank Etheria Restart for sponsoring today's video and urge you guys to download the game with my QR code or link in the description. Hermes, thanks again. We'll see you guys in another video very soon. Take care, guys.